Hello, everyone. We are back. And guys, this is going to be the last book that we do because school will be over the next day. Miss Jennifer and I have loved doing this. You can keep on watching these videos and keep on sending us stuff so we can see how you're doing. Okay, this is a fun one. This book is called The Emperor's Penguin's New Clothes. I wonder what kind of new clothes he's going to get. There was once an emperor penguin who was so fond of fine clothes that he spent nearly all of his money on them. He had a different outfit for every hour of the day. Woo, Miss Yeager only has one outfit a day. And he didn't have anything new to wear, and he didn't have anything new. He was soon filled with boredom. It is the clothes that make the penguin, he would often say. He had no time for his soldiers or his royal subjects. If anyone asked where the emperor was, the answer was almost always, he is in his dressing room. Oh yeah, he sure does love his clothes, I can tell. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He's got like 3 mirrors in there. One day, 2 scoundrels came to town. I wonder what the word scoundrels mean. If someone says, "Ooh, you scoundrel," it's not a nice word. Usually scoundrel means someone who isn't telling the truth and who might be cheating you. So they're not nice people. I'm kind of worried that they're coming into town. They announced that they were master weavers who could make a special magic cloth. Not only was it unusually beautiful, but it was completely invisible to those who were either dishonest or simple-minded. That was a rare thing indeed. So these guys are saying, we can make clothes that are beautiful, but if you are not telling the truth, you can't see them. They're invisible. So maybe that's a way you can tell if someone's telling the truth or not. If they can't see the clothes, they're not telling the truth. But they said they were scoundrels, which means that they kind of don't tell the truth themselves. So do you think they're telling the truth on this one? All the penguins were very impressed, although none could afford the high prices the weavers were asking. When news of the magic cloth reached the emperor penguin, he thought, that is the thing for me. With a suit made of this cloth, I will be able to tell who in my court can be trusted. I must order some of this cloth at once. So the emperor commanded the weavers to make some of their special cloth for him. Large amounts of gold were paid to them, and they were given the finest silk thread from which to weave the cloth. The scoundrels set up 2 huge weaving looms. I don't know if you guys know this, but some clothes are weaved on these machines, and they make our clothes. So they're setting these up to make clothes, but they kept the silk for themselves. Wait a minute, you can't make clothes without thread. They're keeping the thread for themselves. They sat at the looms day and night, pretending to be very busy, but there was no thread at all. Are they making clothes? No, they're not making them. How do you know they're not making the clothes? Because they don't have the thread, and it says they took the thread for themselves and they're not using it. So they're pretending, they're tricking the emperor into thinking they're making him clothes. After a time, the emperor wondered how his cloth was coming along, so he sent 3 trusted high officials to inspect it for him. The weavers greeted them with much excitement. See for yourselves, they exclaimed. The emperor's cloth is the most beautiful we've ever woven. I don't see any cloth. But when the high officials looked, their beaks dropped. They could see nothing at all. The high officials put on their spectacles, but they could not see a single thread. Is it possible that I'm not to be trusted, they thought? Perhaps I'm not fit to help the emperor. The emperor must not find out. They can't see anything because there isn't anything. It's not because they're not truthful. Those scoundrels are tricking them. Some of them said, "Oh, beautiful, brilliant." And others added, "Yes, simply exquisite." They're pretending because they don't want to be seen like they can't be trusted. The emperor was delighted to hear the good news and sent the weavers more gold and more silk. Well, those weavers are just going to keep it. Again, they kept the silk for themselves and did no weaving at all. They're getting rich from this trick, aren't they? Time passed and the emperor grew impatient to see his cloth, so he decided to visit the weavers himself. He took with him his wisest advisors, including 3 officials, including the 3 that had been there before. When the emperor arrived at the shop, the weavers bowed low and invited everyone to inspect the looms. "Isn't this the most magnificent cloth you have ever seen?" they said proudly. "Oh, yes," exclaimed the high officials, because remember, they're pretending. And one added, "Why, the colors are so vivid." Everyone else was speechless. They looked at the looms from every side and from underneath, but no one could see anything. The emperor rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Good heavens, he thought, if they can see stuff, does that mean I can't be trusted? Poor guy, he can't see anything. He thinks he must be the one who can't be trusted. Why can't the emperor see it? Because they're still tricking him. They're good at tricking, aren't they? So he said, "Why, the cloth is splendid, beautiful, superb." He's pretending because he doesn't want to be looked like he can't see it. And the others added, "Delightful." The emperor immediately ordered that a suit and a lawn cape be made for the cloth. "I will wear my new clothes in the parade." Wait a minute. He's going to wear these clothes that really aren't there in a parade. Doesn't that mean that he's not going to be wearing any clothes? A brilliant idea. Soon every penguin in the land was talking about the grand parade. They're excited because they're supposedly going to see his new clothes. And the whole penguin kingdom is going to be there to watch him. Something doesn't sound right about this. In the days that followed, the weavers could be seen busily cutting in the air with their scissors, stitching with empty needles, and pretending to sew on buttons. The night before the parade, they burned extra candles so that everyone could watch them. Are they sewing? No, they're not sewing. They're still pretending. Why are they pretending? So they can get all of the money. In the morning, the weavers hurried to the palace and announced, "The emperor's new clothes are ready. Look, they're holding hangers. But I don't see any clothes." "So here is the jacket," said one, pretending to hold up a jacket. "And here is the cape," said another. "Oh dear, I cannot see the clothes," thought the emperor, "but everyone else can. So the clothes must be there." The weavers helped him into the suit piece by piece, a perfect fit, a lovely color. "Indeed," said the emperor, "these clothes are as light as a feather. Ooh, and I'm getting a little bit cold." Why is he getting cold? Because he doesn't have any clothes on. The emperor and the penguins of the court were full of praise. "Beautiful, sensational." He doesn't have any clothes on. They've tricked him again. This is terrible. He's going to go into the parade without any clothes. Trumpets sounded and the grand parade was underway. Everywhere, penguins crowded the streets, waiting to see his new clothes. First came soldiers, then marching bands, followed by dancers and acrobats. Then came the official penguins of the court in long, flowing robes. And then the emperor. A hush fell over the crowd as he approached. Oh my goodness. He doesn't have anything on. Everyone stared in amazement. No one could see his clothes at all. But then they started to cheer and pretended like they could see them. No one wanted to be thought that they were untruthful. Look at his clothes, how majestic he is. Suddenly, a small voice rose from the crowd. Look! The emperor isn't wearing any clothes! The voice came from a very young penguin. Some of the crowd stopped cheering, and the penguin called, Can't you see? The emperor isn't wearing any clothes at all. Now the emperor heard him too. He was shocked to hear such a thing. But soon others were repeating what the young penguin said, first in whispers, then louder, until the whole crowd was shouting, He's right! The emperor has no clothes! The emperor's beak turned bright red, for he knew it must be true. Now, he could only march proudly on, because he was in the middle of the parade. He had to keep on walking. As for the scoundrels, they were never seen in the town again. They left with all that money. Isn't that terrible? It's kind of funny though too, isn't it? I have two things for you. One, tell someone, a friend, family member, who the characters were in the story. Do you remember? Who are the characters in the story? Now, number two, the thing we're going to do is we're going to write something. We're going to write, what was the problem in the story? There were lots of problems in the story, weren't there? One problem is that the king couldn't see the clothes and other people couldn't see the clothes. Another problem is that the scoundrels were tricking them. Another problem is that the king went in the parade without any clothes on. There were lots of problems in the story, so you can write one of those problems. I need to draw my lines on my paper and write my name and the date. By 2020. And you drop, my box and my lines. So as I said, there were a lot of problems in this story. You can choose which problem you want to do. The one I'm going to do is the problem is the emperor didn't have any clothes on. So I need to first draw a picture of the emperor. Here he is with clothes on. I'm going to draw him without clothes. So I need to draw the emperor penguin. There he is. I'm going to draw his flippers. There's Pete. Here is beak. And I'm still going to add, he has that curly purple hair. He still has curly purple hair and a crown, even though he doesn't have clothes on. This is actually, I'm sure, a wig. Sometimes kings wear wigs instead of their real hair. So here's his crown. And he still has like a scepter or something when he's walking. But he doesn't have any clothes on. There he is. I'm going to write Emperor Penguin because emperor is another word for king. So that way we know it's the Emperor Penguin. So here's Emperor Penguin. Penguin. And now we need to write what the problem is. The problem is the, and remember, first letter in the word, so it's a capital T-H-E, the problem. P per R per ah O prob B problem O The problem is our sight word, I-S. The problem is the emperor has no clothes on. What do you need at the end? A period. I'm not going to write it because you know you can write it. You can write a different problem. There were lots of problems in the book. I'm so glad that you guys watched this video. I can't wait to see what you do. I love you. Thank you so much, Miss Mason, and have a good summer. Bye.